microphone. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening and welcome to the first of 3 meetings scheduled this evening. My name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove, and at this time we will convene our Board of Sanitation. And in lieu of a roll call, I'll ask each participant to identify themselves, beginning at my far right. Ed Bell.
Dan McMillan, Clerk Treasurer.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Sandy Seward.
Thank you. Minutes for our last meeting dated Monday, May the 20th are available for review. Floor is open for comments or corrections.
I've read the minutes prior to the meeting. I have no comments or corrections.
Do I? Motion to approve the minutes dated May 20th as presented.
I'll make said motion.
I'll second.
I also vote aye and the motion carries. Tonight, Board, you have one docket of wastewater claims dated June 3rd, 2 pages in the amount of $13,096.39. The floor is open for questions or comments.
I have one question on page 1, please. Almost to the bottom for Fitzgerald, the amount of $562 for sewage repair, maintenance, roof, snow break. What?
I've got a question on that too. I seen that on there myself. Brad, do you know what that is?
Yeah, when we got a new roof put on last winter, we had a real problem with sheets of ice falling off. Really pretty dangerous. So what this is, and you'll see it on a lot of other roofs, it's an icebreaker. Basically, it doesn't allow that first sheet of ice to slide off the one piece.
So it's a safety feature.
Yeah, exactly. I had a lot of people complain last winter about all the sheets of ice and death that could take place to hit somebody. So that's what we're trying to avoid.
Thank you.
Yep.
No more questions.
Any other questions or comments? Motion to approve the June 3rd, 2013 wastewater claims as presented in the amount of $13,096.39.
I'll make said motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye and the motion carries. There is no unfinished business to carry over from the previous meeting. We have no new business. I would ask, Brad, could you update the board on the 9th and Fletcher project, please?
We had a pre-construction meeting with Cully Contracting. It looks like they had some things that they had to rearrange, so they're going to be able to get in there a little sooner than they thought. I think we'll probably get the word in the next couple of days to go ahead and put out the 7-day notice to the schools, police, fire, traffic, that the road will be closed. They think that obviously unforeseen situations, things that come up could change this, but they estimate it to be a 4-day job, and that's everything going well. So they seem, happy to have gotten it. Their representative spoke very highly of what they were capable of, so we left the meeting felt really confident about what was going to take place, and I think when it's all done, it'll really serve those people in that area well.
Board members have questions for Brad?
Very good.
Very briefly talk about the next project.
Yeah, the next thing we want to do once this is done, I think, to put out for bid, obviously if it's something that the board approves, is an area between South 9th and an alley between 8th and 9th from Bellefontaine to Alton. And it's a situation where we have some offsets and an old pipe that sizes down to a 6-inch pipe, which really isn't ideal. So what we've worked up with Wessler is to go in and add, rehabilitate 2 manholes, add a 3rd manhole, upsize the pipe that's now currently small to make that a new section of pipe, and then line the old pipe, thus making the whole run really pretty much foolproof for us. It's currently an issue for us when there's a problem. It's really not ideal for us to run our jet machine through there. It gets hung up a lot because of the offsets. So being able to do this will pretty much eliminate us from having any problems, because currently the few times that we've had issues are because of the way it's constructed. But if there ever were to be an issue with somebody putting something in there that shouldn't be there, we would at least, be in an ideal situation to clean it. So that's our next goal. And I think when we do that, we'll look to probably repair some of the areas that this is into as far as the roadways, parts of that alley, maybe parts of that road, because the heavy equipment they'll have to move in to get the job done. So it'll be a benefit in that way as well.
Questions or comments? Thank you.
Yep.
All done. Comments from board members? If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second. The meeting is adjourned at 6:05 p.m. The next meeting is scheduled for Monday, June the 17th, 2013, 6 p.m. at City Hall in the council chambers. We'll be adjourned, and we'll reconvene the Board of Works in about 10 minutes. Thank you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening and welcome to the second of 3 meetings. My name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove. And at this time, we'll convene our Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. And in lieu of a roll call, I'll ask each participant to identify themselves, starting at my far right.
Ed Bell. Dan McMillan, Clerk Treasurer.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Sandy Seward.
Board, you have minutes from the previous meeting dated Monday, May the 20th, 2013. The floor is open for questions or comments.
I have a comment, please. At our last meeting, I thought there was something missing from the minutes regarding lawn care for Beech Grove, and that was the minutes, the meeting prior to, so I stand corrected. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
No?
Yep.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes of the Monday, May the 20th, 2013 meeting as presented.
I'll make said motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Next on the agenda is the approval of claims. And Board, you have docket this evening, regular corporation claims. You have 26 pages of claims in the amount of $717,729. The floor is open for questions or comments.
I have a question on page 1, please. The second line item is for $1,386.93 for police officers' travel expenses. What was that travel for?
That was their trip to Washington, D.C. Mark, would you like to elaborate on that? Or?
That was the trip for officers to Washington, D.C. for the memorial service. It's a yearly trip or a yearly event. We try to send officers to memorialize 3 officers that we had killed, plus the ambulance.
So just the one officer went, or did we?
We had 4 officers.
We had 4. And that's their travel expenses for all 4? Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you. I have another question, please, on page 23, second one from the bottom, or third one from the bottom, for the amount of $1,260.40. The payee is deemed for the Parks Department.
Did you say Dean?
Deem.
That is heating and air conditioning. Is Tom here? You want to explain what that was for, what they did?
I just know they had an issue here, Dean took care of it.
It's still going in here.
It's working, the air
Okay.
conditioner.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you. And I have another one, please, page 25, for Fitzgerald and Fitzgerald. Board of Public Works Building Community Inspector for $1,565. What kind of inspection is that?
That is, he's the building commissioner for the city, and these are his fees for going out and inspecting items that was issued a building permit, and so these are fees that he charges to go out and inspect
Thank you.
properties.
Thanks, that's all the questions I had. Thank you.
See none.
If there's no other questions or comments, I'll ask for a motion to approve the regular corporation claims presented in the amount of $717,729.
I'll make said motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. There is no unfinished business carried over from the previous meetings. New business, including the introduction of resolutions, contracts, or other business. We'll flip the order for the presence of time. And Tom, could you step forward with a request for employment?
I'm here tonight to request the board's approval for hiring Christopher Mousy as a part-time worker for the park department. Chris is going to be a senior at IUPUI this year in exercise science. And he's got previous landscape and mowing experience in a commercial setting. His starting salary would be $10 an hour, and there would be no change in my budget for this year. He can start immediately upon your approval and presentation of a negative drug screening.
Board have questions or comments?
Previous years, you hired college kids for the summer to help. And how many did we used to hire, say, maybe 2-3 years ago versus now?
Well, I've never hired any of that. That was like over 4 years ago. But I don't think they ever had any in the park. Public Works had college kids. They were the last ones that used college help in the summer. And it got to be where it wasn't real successful, really. I have one college student currently that I use that has been real good. So I guess that's where he was probably hired 5 years ago, and he's going to be done with, he's graduated from college and he's doing a few extra work right now so he can take his CPA board, and we may lose him at that point. So we were successful with him.
So what kind of duties will he does this area doing?
The same as everybody.
Focusing on like certain areas?
Everybody does everything down there, so actually the need for it now, I've probably been a little too thrifty in the past with workers anyway, but Randy Males is a teacher, and their schedule has changed, so he's available a little less this year. Josh is the same way with his school. He's available a little less, so Chris is really going to sort of fill in some gaps. And then additionally, now we're trying to have people in the park on the afternoons on Saturday and Sunday. So trying to avoid some problems that we've had in the past by having somebody there.
Tom, how many hours a week are you talking?
Probably, I'm guessing 24 maybe.
Okay. And this
Depending on if somebody's gone, he'll work more, you know.
Right. And this is nothing additional for your budget.
Right.
It's already.
Yeah.
All right.
Any other comments or questions from board members? I'll ask for a motion Christopher Mousy on a part-time basis.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Next is a request from permission to have farmers market. I don't know who's doing the presenting. Robin? Come on up to the podium, please. I'll read have the clerk read a letter from the Beautify Beech Grove Committee.
Dear Board, much interest has been made to have a local farmers market in Beech Grove. The Beautify Beech Grove group has decided to take on this task. We are asking permission to host a farmers market at 3535 South Emerson Avenue, Beech Grove, in the parking lot of the Emporium, Beech Grove. We have received permission from the owner of the Emporium and have approval from the Marion County Board of Health, a copy of the insurance liability certificate, the approval from the Marion County Board of Health, the approval from the Emporium, and the approval from the property owner is attached for your review. Our plan is to have a farmer's market starting on Tuesday, June the 11th, or Tuesday, June the 18th, depending on the response from vendors, and proceeding every other Tuesday from 4 to 7 p.m. until October 29, 2013. There will be a market manager at every sale from the Beautify Beech Grove Group. Thank you for your consideration for these events.
Board, the floor is open for questions or comments.
I do have a question. Just by looking at the food establishment inspection report, it says that the market will be open on Saturdays. Is it Saturdays or Tuesdays or both?
It's going to be changed to Tuesday.
Tuesdays.
We were finding that we could get more vendors and we did it on Tuesday. And I contacted Dana from the Board of Health, and she said it's all the same, just as long as our hours are the same as hers, or the Emporium, and they close at 7, so we would be going from 4 to 7 on Tuesdays. And the reason why we have to stick within those hours is because we got permission to use their restroom and their hand washing station.
Robin, you originally came and requested this. I mean, is this something?
She didn't request it.
She didn't?
No, we requested her. We had a lot of people ask for a farmer's market in Beech Grove. I mean, I probably get 10 or 15 phone calls a week and word of mouth. And I sat down with Lori Middleton and we decided that we wanted to take on the task. So we went to Robin and asked her if she would be willing to sponsor a farmer's market. And she said she would.
And the reason why is because there's a big calling for this type of thing, and it kind of goes along with the business model that we have at Emerson.
Is the property owner aware of it?
Yes, he is, and he has written a letter of approval as well.
It's in that file. I highlighted it where he said that it was fine.
Now, what type of vendors have applied?
Well, right now we have a honey vendor where they do make honey. I've sent information to egg vendor, Waterman's. We have several. We're going to have to go out. I didn't want to get too many vendors ahead until we found out if we got approval. So we're not trying to do an Emporium type thing. We've had a couple people call and ask if they could put knickknacks out there. We don't want that because that would take away from her store, and that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to have an actual farmer's market.
Very similar to what they have down on Market Street.
Yes. This is another question. So garbage pickup will be provided by the city of Beech Grove for that?
We have a dumpster in the back of our location. We actually pay for that through Raise, and they are, it is available for their use.
So the city of Beech Grove will not?
They wouldn't have to.
Our dumpster is large enough to take care of it.
One of the things, one of the questions I had, we talked about this when you had the carnival. To me, okay, they can come out, like the health department came out now and they did this, did an inspection. But to me, this really doesn't mean anything. I mean, they should come out when the event is going on. That makes sense?
They have the opportunity to come out, according to Dana from the Marion County Health Department. What they did is they came out and inspected her building to make sure that people could go in and use the restroom, and there was some place to wash their hands, and they were concerned about the trash. But they do hold the right to, any time that we hold the market, they can come out and go through it. There's people that come to the market have to be registered with the Board of Health, and they do that on their own. We have to supply her a list before we start, and then she checks to make sure that everybody is registered. Because most people that are going to be at our market are either at Greenwood or downtown or some other place, so 99% of them will be registered already. And it doesn't cost them anything to register with the Board of Health.
Now, do both of these have a retail purchase license? Does the DIG do that?
Do they have a retail license?
Do you know?
You know, I don't know. I think they have to just be approved by the Board of Health, and I believe, you know, like I said, 99% of them already are. We have, I mean, we still have to send her, like, I think it's 48 hours in advance, our list. I can't hear you.
Do they have to have permits like the carnival did, or is this a totally different kind of?
This is totally different, and from what I understand, Beautified Beech Grove became a nonprofit, and we don't have to have a permit for a nonprofit. We have to have a permit, we don't have to pay.
I've got a couple of questions for you. Your 501c, you say you're a nonprofit. You have the approved form for that, or have you just applied?
We have applied and we got notice back that we did get it.
Okay, because the carnival we just had, I never got a complete documentation on everything, and that was one of the things that was supposed to happen before the rides were ever turned on. I was there the day of them opening up, having to ask the gentleman for verification on different things, and that's the reason why it's very important that all this paperwork is in our office before anything ever happens. And one of the things would be, like Julie said, if they've got their 501c and it's been approved by the Internal Revenue Service, then they become tax exempt. But until that is in our office, anyone that shows up to sell anything at your premises would have to buy a vendor's permit from the city of Beech Grove per ordinance.
Okay, we got it last week, and I think I had the attorney, when he was in working his day in the city hall, I had him look at it
Okay.
and see if it was what we needed.
Okay. Okay, I need a copy of that. Also, I need the Beautified Beech Grove listing the city of Beech Grove as additional insured. You sent me a copy of the Emporiums. The Emporium is not holding this. The Beautified Beech Grove is. They might be sponsoring it, but you are putting the city out there liable, and that's the reason why we need additional insured from Beautified Beech Grove, just like when you did your walk.
My understanding was that if we had a sponsor and it's her parking lot and they approved it, that we could use their insurance certificate.
The problem is, and I'll just be real brief on the insurance part of it, if someone goes there, eats something, gets sick, they're not only going to sue her, they're going to sue Beautified Beech Grove and the city of Beech Grove, and that creates a problem. And
That's why they have to be registered with the Board of Health.
I understand that, but incidents happen. I mean, it's just like they have inspection for the stage collapse at the state fairgrounds, but something happened. And when something happens, they go through a whole litany of who they're gonna sue. And the city would be at the top of their list. Because we have been, in the past, tied to, Beautify Beech Grove has been tied to the city. Funds were donations were donated into the mayor's fund and then put into the general fund of the city. And then in turn, they were paid out of the general fund. So Beautify Beech Grove right now is commingled money with the city of Beech Grove.
We did not take any money from out of the mayor's donation. We became nonprofit, we completely stepped aside and not take any money from there from that time.
I understand that, but previous to this, there has been money that has been commingled.
I don't understand why there is a problem with trying to get people to come into the city.
There's no problem trying to get people to come into the city. The problem is doing it legally and making sure the city is not held liable for a lawsuit. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's my job. And that's what, you know, I'm sorry that you're unhappy with the way that happens. But we had stuff on the city website that actually had Beautify Beech Grove as one of the organizations that the mayor started. He came to me, asked me to take it off. I took it off.
And I withdraw. We won't have the farmer's market. We'll wait until next year and we'll try to get it approved.
That's fine.
I mean, I'm not going to argue. We've been through every step that I felt like we needed to go through. And this is something that I thought that, you know, we have been wanting to do for a long time. And citizens have been asking for it. Kate Little Denning has given me names for vendors. She's really interested. There's several people, so.
Well, I'm not opposed to it. I'm just making sure everything's done properly.
If the vendors register with the Emporium as a vendor of the Emporium, and we issue all the funds that are collected to Beautify Beech Grove, would that be acceptable to the board?
It'd be acceptable to me, but the problem being is then they're gonna have to pay a fee because then it's not being operated to a nonprofit.
They have to pay a fee, I'm sorry.
A vendor's permit.
Is that a vendor per, is that per occurrence or is that per year?
That would be per year for anybody that sets up. So in
Okay,
other words,
can I ask a question? Is this going to be done for the Promoters Club? Is this going to be done for Holy Name? I mean, are we going to start doing that?
these are nonprofits, Julie, that are actually being held on their own property, like Holy Name, for example. Yes, if there's vendors that are outside, this, you know, there would be an exception if it's anything but a nonprofit.
If the Promoters Club decide to have the fall festival and they can't have it on Main Street and they have a Holy Name, you're going to make them have all those? Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
What, do you want to continue or withdraw?
Well, you know, we can't afford to have each person have a vendor, a vendor permit. As her being a sponsor of this, and we've done extensive talking, we had this all worked out that we could use their insurance.
If it's all
It was
conducted-
$300 and some for the walk for insurance, and I just don't think that it would behoove us to move forward if we have to have our own insurance. So,
Is it possible for the board to waive the vendor license or to decrease or give some form of exception on the total cost per year for each vendor?
If you're sponsoring the event, and if you're a nonprofit, you still have to have the permit. It just, the fee gets waived to pay for, provided you have documentation of that 501(c)(3).
the insurance certificate that we give holds the city of Beech Grove, it holds them not responsible. It's
they're the additional insurance, most certificate that I get from my insurance.
My thing is, I would check with your insurance company. I would think that the insurance you've already done for the Beautified Beech Grove would cover you for the entire year for any event that Beautified Beech Grove has done. And that's all I need is a copy of the insurance. There would be no vendor's fee.
That's what I put in there, was a copy of her insurance.
That's her insurance, Beautified Beech Grove.
Okay, what happens if she can put on there the City of Beech Grove and Beautified Beech Grove?
I still need one for the one that puts it on, and that's Beautified Beech Grove. And Beautified Beech Grove already had one for the walk. Why they can't go to their insurance people?
That's a one-day event.
Okay, then you need to get one that would cover you for the farmer's market for whatever time frame.
Can we table it until some more information is found? I really hate to, I mean, obviously you guys have put in a lot of work, and I understand, Dan, and everything that you're saying as well. So can we table it and?
Can I ask the attorney what his opinion is?
Even though it's not for profit, I still think it does need to be insured. I think Dan's right on that.
Could we, Craig, is your opinion that we could have her additional insured on that same certificate?
I don't think they'll do that.
Is it possible to just go ahead and run it for, we'll set Beautified Beech Grove as a vendor of the Emporium? The vendors that are out in the parking lot would come in and pay their fees, and then we would issue a check directly to Beautified Beech Grove. Everything would be handled through our system and under our policy at that point. How does Greenwood do this? I don't understand how all these other places can do it, and you can't get something so simple like that through the City of Beech Grove. I mean, this is something to me that seems like it would be an awesome opportunity for the city.
I think it's simply enough. All they got to do is provide insurance.
But
That's all we're
what's the
asking.
purpose if everything that you bring in for a not-for-profit organization has to go pay for insurance?
Well, you got attorneys that go sue happy when something goes.
I mean, I'm willing to work with whatever is necessary to make this successful for the City of Beech Grove.
I may advise the board to table this until June 17th.
So we can get a better read on the insurance.
Okay, thanks.
While we're on the topic, can we talk about the carnival from last week, or from the last meeting? You know, as a board, Ed and I, we approved this event under the understanding that the owner of Emporium would provide us with, you know, the food permits, proof of insurance, other vendor licenses and permits. That's how we left it when we left this room, okay? I got an email from a concerned citizen about all this, and this person was stating that, you know, it's my responsibility as a board member to make sure this happened. Now, I'm not an expert at Indiana law, that's why we have Craig. My question is, did we receive all the permits, insurance, proof of insurance, did we receive everything needed to have that carnival running?
No.
Okay, if we did not, why did we allow it to go forward?
Who was going to shut it down? I mean, I guess that's the case. And just I went there at 2:30, I think. Did the carnival start on Tuesday? I believe it did. Whatever day it was starting, and asked the gentleman, where's your permits? I haven't gotten them in my office. That was the understanding and agreement for the board to move forward on this. I had already called the Board of Health. I had called down to Marion County. They had told me that he did apply for the permits, and that's the reason why I didn't push it further at that time, because at least I didn't understand that he was trying to get the permits. So anyway, I asked him, I said, as soon as you get these permits, would you please bring them to my office? On Wednesday afternoon, he brought them up. He had the 4 Marion County health permits and a fire permit. In fact, I've got the permits right now. This file here is everything on the carnival. We still do not have anything from Homeland Security. There's other permits that should have happened. I made a phone call to Chief Schwartz and asked him if he had been over to talk to him, which he had, and they talked the security card and so forth. But he also informed me that last year he was shut down for what, a day mark or 2 days because of no permits. So I checked with Chief Pearson on whether or not anybody had been over from our department, which it's not up to them to inspect rides. But I mean, I think we followed up on everything we could do to make sure that it was a safe environment for the citizens of Beech Grove or anyone that came into it.